Understandable.
Oh, we're live. We're actually live. We've been live for like 6 seconds. Oh my goodness. We're so ridiculous. All right. So Fathery's hanging out there as like a shadow. I'm going to go work on something in engineering. You guys have the con. I'll be back.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow. Michelle, are you going to do a brief recap or do you want me to attempt
Oh,
this?
you can attempt the recap.
Oh,
More
gosh.
than happy for you to attempt. I'll contribute if I see fit, but I would love to hear your version of a recap for this one, Braxton.
Okay, so the crew is out exploring, and they run into a inner space fold or something where music can just like exist or something. Um, I really loved Una reading the room when Kirk is coming aboard, and like La'an's coming in. She has to give him like a security briefing before he can be on the ship. So it's like she's coming, and Una's like, "Ooh, like you came in like hot, like." There's a something like I don't know what it is, but it's a something. And then like he beams in, and she's like, "Oh, like you know him?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, like I do." She kind of like stumbled through it, like she's very like awkward. Um, but I thought the first song, all was the first song, "All Systems uh, Are Stable." Is that the first song, or is it Spock song? That's the first. That's the first song.
All System Stable, I think, is the first
Okay.
one.
I thought that "All Systems Are Stable" was absolutely fabulous. Um, Oh, so it's called a quantum uncertainty field that created a musical reality. I think I like wrote
Look
that
at
down.
you with the
Quantum.
techno babble. Yes. This is why I don't do recaps. I'm like, whatever.
you know, but just like I thought that this was just a great episode. So many of our crew could sing really well. We had the unfolding drama of Kirk and La'an. Unfortunately, our girl gets her feelings hurt. We have more unfolding drama with Captain Battelle and our Captain Pike. I was telling Sohail that I feel like Captain Battelle is not gonna keep her plans. Like, I feel like when people on a show like talk about, oh yeah, like I'm gonna catch up with you like next
They're
week after
telegraphing
this like
this. It's so
priority one
hard.
mission. She's not gonna make it back.
I'm
And
very
yeah,
upset about that. We'll talk about it in a bit. Yeah.
and in the end, our crew basically has to sing their way out of it. They just have to like everybody has to sing with like the whole heart, and they have to like dance and perform, and that'll create enough energy to make this musical reality disperse. We get to see boy
It's sad
band
that the
dancing
musical
Klingons.
reality disperses, but how spectacular was it that it dispersed like a star, like this, like fireworks? Like it was really,
I thought
really
they
pretty.
blew up the Klingon ship for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
It was really cool.
But
I have
yes,
to say that's probably the best recap because it was like under 5 minutes. So you did excellent, Braxton.
hey, and then we can talk about the rest.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to get into with this one. I
Mhm.
mean, in the chat, I'm interested to see thumbs up, thumbs down. I personally loved this episode. I was filled with joy, with great gratitude and joy, and just enjoying it for what it was. And it was so Star Trek. Like, you can't be like, well, they just did a musical. It's like, no, the musical was like a part of the show. And Star Trek has done way worse things than a musical. And I think they pulled it off. What do you guys
Mhm.
think?
I think that, and also I agree with Brian, Marie Battelle.
Hmm.
So we have a name, Marie.
Marie, yes.
Oh,
Who
Marie.
may not
Is
be
it Marie?
long for
I thought it
this
was
universe.
Marie. Like
I think
Marie.
that they definitely pulled it off. So, for instance, when I watched this with Sohail, I didn't really like it that much. But then I watched it by myself, just now, and I absolutely loved it. I don't remember me smiling as much watching Star Trek as I
Wow,
did
you're saying that
today.
when you watch Star Trek with me, it's not as good.
Dude, like I don't know
So
what happened. Dude.
commentary disrupting your enjoyment.
Dang. Oh
I think
my
it was.
goodness.
I think it was the weight of your expectations that like negatively affected
I had the
me.
biggest expectations, but they were met for me personally. This episode met those expectations.
Michelle, which was your favorite song?
Oh, that's so hard, but I have to say I really loved the last song, the group song. That was probably, but Uhura's song's like, it's like that or Uhura's song. Because honestly, I'm going to make my Crusher connection right now. God bless you guys for dealing with me with always bringing Beverly Crusher into everything. But I feel like that is her soundtrack. Like that is her song.
I keep people connected.
She keeps people connected. She's always, fix this, do that. She's alone. Like everybody's always leaving her behind, or she has to leave everybody behind. Like, poor Bev. People are dying on her all the time. Her son's going off being a traveler. Picard can't get his stuff together. So, it's like, yeah, I feel like Uhura's song can resonate for many characters in Star Trek, but I absolutely love Celia Rose Gooding's. I mean, her voice is amazing. And Christina Chong too, but Celia really blew it out of the water for me, like in a good way. And so come on, that final group number where everyone is singing, including those who like Mbanga, who are like, I don't sing. But he's skipping in sick bay with Chapel, coming right off of that ending from last week, which we're not going to debate here. But the whole thing was I'm a theater kid. Like in high school, drama was my jam. Like those were my friends. We were the drama kids. So we were putting on plays. We put on our own senior play musical because we didn't have like a moderator that wanted to run a show for us our senior year in the spring. So we did like all different scenes from all different musicals and stuff. So I love a good musical. So not surprising that I enjoyed this episode.
Thinking about keeping people connected, like in the opening scenes of this week's show, like dude, like Uhura, like she was like on that board, dude. She was keeping people connected, dude. Like
New York telephone. That's all
I can think of. She was moving so fast, dude. Like, oh my gosh, she was like moving like people did, like
1930s, man.
Yeah.
You watch the Waltons putting the receivers in. Like she was clearing the board. She knows what she's doing. We getting plenty of Uhura being awesome at her job, which is great.
Celia R. Gooding is a Grammy winner, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, she is.
What did she win a Grammy for?
I don't know, but Christina Chong mentioned it on the Ready Room.
Time to Google.
Yes, this is good.
Come on, chat, help us out here. But Christina just dropped her single, I think, just a couple of weeks ago, right? And is this soundtrack going to come out on iTunes?
I think tomorrow.
Apple Music.
I think it's all dropping tomorrow. It's weird. There was like a preview that dropped for like a hot second, and then it was gone, and now
because it's all spoilery.
So this music is actually going to be like available to like stream,
like the album. Yeah, you can.
Oh wow!
I'll be listening to it
all summer now. The rest of the summer.
I'll be listening to it
also
constantly.
Let's just point out, Jill.
Just gonna be the soundtrack of my life forever now.
His family's gonna be like, put some headphones on. Jill in the chat says Celia's Grammy was for Jagged Little Pill, which I believe was a Broadway music. Was that a movie or Broadway?
I think it's Grammys can be for Broadway. I think so. It might have been. Is that the Alanis Morissette musical?
I think so. Yep,
is that it? Oh, wow.
One of my favorite albums growing up. You ought to
that
know.
album is great. Yeah,
but I
you
do
ought
think
to know.
that would have been interesting. We had like during
I'm here to remind you.
This is all like Star Trek karaoke tonight. Like
that's the best you when you went away.
If you thought you were going away,
came.
Come on, Braxton. That's another Beverly Crusher song that we have from our Crusher Convo playlist.
You guys
our mixtape.
You guys love emo pop. Like you were like eating
Yes.
this up, dude.
Jill didn't know what industrial music was. Like, you guys listen to industrial music, right? Like, don't you think Spock's number was like
It was
industrial sounding?
emo. I would
It was
say, yeah.
emo. Okay.
Not
Yeah,
the X. You're talking about the first one?
No, yeah, no, I'm talking about
The
on the
X.
X.
Oh, okay.
The first
It's
one
very
was like the
industrial.
all systems stable. Like it started out with him.
I like that song. Yeah.
Mhm.
That was like the most Star Trek one.
Mhm.
Like they were just realizing like, why am I singing? And they were just doing all Star Trek things.
Yeah.
Like they
I
were
love
doing
like the chorus with apologies. I appear to be singing.
all systems stable. Like
All
I can't
systems
sing, guys. I'm so
stable.
sorry. There's a lot going on in the chat tonight too. It seems like most people like this episode, which is cool. I think there's who was it? The Powell family had said that she really liked the Spock and what did she say? The Spock and Chapel song? Yeah, the Chapel Spock double song. That was one song, but split into two different scenes, pretty much.
Right.
Hmm.
There was a lot of that going on. Apparently, they sounded different to me for some reason. I guess there's like there's a lot of songs that kind of mirror each other. They're variations. Like they're doing the same thing, but they vary later on. And
they can only write some. I mean, I don't know who wrote this music. I'm sure it's on there. I just props.
I wish we had like a
everyone.
trained. Are you a trained musician? Like,
I used to play clarinet, so
okay, so you know some of this, like,
but that was a long time. And I do play the drums, but I'm not a trained drummer. Like I'm a by ear. I was taught just.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know, so but I have read drum music, and I used to play a little bit of guitar, like, but just chords. Like I love music. My friend who's a TNG fan. We went to the 92NY thing in February together where the cast of Picard was like doing a Q&A in New York. And that was like just everything coming together for us. But we had like a tin can band. I'm sure she's going to love me putting this together on blast. But like we were growing up, like when we were 13, like we played on like lunchboxes, tin cans. I'm a music kid. She played clarinet too. Like we're Trekkies and music fans. So this was... I mean, I want to see what my friend thinks about this episode. I don't know if she's even watching Strange New Worlds, but she needs to. I might show this to like my friends who love musicals and be like, "Hey, this is Star Trek."
Is Kling Pop what we saw in this episode? I wonder.
It was K-pop. It was literally K-pop.
Is that K-pop? I feel like is Super Junior is K-pop, right? That's the last time I checked in with K-pop. I know there's like BTS and
BTS is what I've heard of.
And someone really cool, Rashid, he's a friend who I've been following for years and I've never met him. Which happens. It happens online, people. This happens. But anyways, he's always posting. So I've been meaning to check out BTS. And so if you happen to be listening to this, I'm so sorry that I don't know BTS, but it doesn't sound like this band. I feel like this sounded more like Eminem's like style rap to me.
It was kind of boy bandish from the early 2000s, like a
Yeah.
little bit of Backstreet Boy in sync action going on.
Yeah, that's where
little dance moves, and
I think Eminem's like a boy
enjoyed
band,
it.
right? Eminem's a boy band, right?
Well, let's not say that. I don't want to get involved in that battle. But I will say some people did not like the Klingon. Apparently, there was debate even within the Strange New Worlds creative team about what they were going to do with the Klingons.
Michelle, you want a Klingon opera?
Is it jumping the shark?
It's the most epic part of the episode because it's the wildest thing.
Right.
Like it's so wild. It's great.
I want a Klingon opera, dude.
That's what
I wanted to hear.
Klingon opera. You had the recitative. That was the recitative.
So the thing
you didn't
is,
get to hear him belt it out yet.
Did we ever hear Worf listening to Klingon opera at any time?
Yes.
Yeah, we heard Melota on TNG.
Wasn't that in Gambit? Wasn't he trying to get it? They went to a bar and they were trying to get information, and there was this lady at the bar playing the piano, and she was playing like the Klingon opera. Yeah.
Oh, wow. For a second, I thought I had 4 hands. Wow.
You're like,
what just happened?
I like that it was unexpected.
That's the Chateau Picard. kicking in.
Oh. Oh, the sour. You have sour
Mm.
mead this evening.
And this one's
Sohail?
kind of sour. I don't know what's going on with this one.
Oh,
No.
I love you. But I like that they were doing like a K-pop thing because they felt dishonor. And so like if they were singing Klingon opera, why would you feel dishonor? Because that like they love that and that's good. So like yeah, it's got to be like different. It's got to be like K-pop or else it's like why would they feel like embarrassed by it, right? They love their opera. Like Worf was proud of his opera.
And
So
and remember, we're in the musical universe. It's like the Enterprise is like it's on like the way they described it is like this other universe is zipping open and the Enterprise is just like kind of hanging out here, but that widens and widens, like it gets bigger and bigger throughout the episode until it's like encompassing the Klingons as well. So what
it
we're
was
actually
also
seeing,
yes, this was a Federation ending stakes again, where the all
right,
the
but not only
Federations
that,
ending-
this is like yet again another time where Strange New Worlds is playing with like a different reality. Like we're in a different universe. We're in the Pelia, I think, calls it the musical universe, right?
Well, yeah, it was like yeah, because it was creating a reality that they were now living, which was this musical reality that they had to sing when things got really amped up. And jinx on you, Jill. We both said at the same time Klingons would not have considered opera dishonorable. So
Right.
good on you, Jill.
The difference is that this is a field and it had to be burst, like and it was naturally occurring, which I also thought was really cool. Like that there's like these weird phenomena in space, and like depending what you throw at it, it like she threw like a song from a musical at it, anything goes, and like it spat back out like a musical
awesome to see Spock
reality.
Spock and Uhura working together though this whole episode.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I
Yeah.
really love this. It reminds me
Yeah.
of like Charlie X when she teases him with the song in Charlie X, and I feel like this sets the groundwork for that, right? Because she's like, remember that time when we almost blew up the entire Federation trying to, use that fold in time. Like this is Spock's fault. Because he's like, maybe we can go
Totally
from
Spock's
like,
fault.
I don't know, like they were trying to go from like dial up to immediate texting, like using that fold. Like they're like, well, we can communicate in instant time if we use this fold in space, but we can't seem to get anything through. So they were trying to create better communication, which is an Uhura thing too, right? But then all of a sudden this musical thing overwhelms them and it's dangerous. Like if somebody shoots that anomaly like the Klingons wanted to, everything would be destroyed. So I'm just thinking, wow, in Picard season 3, could they have just used this to like end the Borg? Would they have been singing on the Borg cube? Like,
oh my gosh,
you could put this. I mean, you've had music in Star Trek before, but this is a great concept.
I had like really high expectations for this episode because in my imagination, Discovery was the show that got to do the Star Trek musical, and then my second favorite was always Lower Decks, for it to do a Star Trek musical episode. But so Discovery, as far as we know, is not doing a musical episode of Star Trek because Strange New Worlds broke the barrier first, went through the Great Barrier, the great musical Star Trek barrier, and so I didn't know what to expect, but it was just like phenomenal what they did with it, like the way that they were able to tie it in with the characters like so strongly. Like we got like peeks into their inner lives in a way that like there's no other way. You can't do it any other way than a musical this way, like this effectively in one episode, in my opinion. Like the songs have a way of just conveying everything about a character. And so it is interesting. Like, I guess the focus was definitely on Uhura, and I'm 100% like, I want a thing that says Uhura is the voice of the Enterprise because it's like perfect. She is like all the way through the Enterprise's life and beyond. Like when she gets her own ship, which unfortunately is really hard to pronounce because of King Leon Grace, but
I say Leon de Grance. Is that wrong? I don't know.
I think that's right. I don't know. I've never heard.
I did a whole micro trek about it, but no one seemed to care. So
Oh, I
just
gotta look
dropped
at
it.
that.
Yeah. But I also, that's great, Sir Uncle Art. Yes, Bruce Horrick did make a special
Yeah,
appearance
it's true.
as the Klingon captain. And I had no idea until the Ready Room, and then I had to rewatch it like 3 times. So I was like, oh yes. I don't know if that was his voice or not, but he was fabulous there. And I have to say, everybody carried their own. Like, I'm sure there were some actors that were like, but I love the way Anson Mount left it all on the floor. Like, he was like on his knee, like he was John Travoltering it. Like, he was getting into it. They all were like very into it. And you know what? I didn't mind Kirk in this episode for the first time. I'm like, sure, why not?
Oh my god, I have to come off mute for that. Okay, that's great.
But also,
Kirk has been great this whole season. Don't you think that like we all made a big deal for nothing? Like I'm assuming this is it. Like I'm assuming we're not going to see him again.
The actor has won me over. I absolutely love it. Dude.
Look at that.
I eat Kirk up, dude.
You already won me over.
I am very much in the Sam Kirk camp.
And don't be alarmed if I can't remember the rest of it.
He has won me over. I think that he is so charming. All I wanted, pardon me. I wanted a little bit more dancing by the main crew. So Una and Kirk did dance. Like La'an was like, she was like sleuthing and looking around the corner. She was like, ooh, like, what are they doing? And then she like saw them dance and like just the jealousy that was in her eyes. I was like, ooh, La'an, But yeah, I mean, they danced, but I feel like, like main cast crew members did not really dance. Like Chapel danced a little bit. Like I feel like the Doctor did like a little something. He was like sprinting or something. And then, we had like some side characters, like some red shirts who were like dancing in the end. But like, I wanted to see our main characters dance a little bit.
Yeah, they just danced a little bit in this one. But I think that
Chapel did a lot of dancing, right?
Chapel did a lot of dance. That whole choreography in the bar was very very TOS. I loved it. It felt like the way they were moving, like, they had the whole, it was perfect to me, that choreographed scene, and people lifting her up, and like Ortega's getting into it, Sam Kirk getting into it.
Yeah, it's true.
Spock wasn't having it, obviously.
But like, as far as like,
was clocking that.
I feel like the background dancers were superb, though. All the red shirts, they were really great. Like they helped.
No red shirts died. Thank you, Brian.
Yes, and they amped up the scene. I like what Miss Powell family says here. This is the naked time for Strange New Worlds, and I think that's kind of cool. I hope it's a tradition that they keep doing in future Star Trek shows. So maybe the Academy can get a musical episode. I want more musicals.
Listen, so Jill in the chat is bringing up a point I want to talk about. She says, I didn't like Chapel's number at the end. Why was she so cruel with the public dumping? I want to just say this. It's been asserted that when you start singing with the anomaly, like the whole song was about her being happy about her career. She asked Spock if they could speak privately, because she had stuff to say to him privately. And Spock said, I just want to know. So he kind of pushed the issue. And then she started singing about how happy she was about this promotion. And then, it felt kind of like, I'm going to leave you, Spock, if I have to. But honestly, hasn't like every male captain in Star Trek done this? Like, sorry, if I got to go, I got to go. And even women in Star Trek, like,
yeah, the military is that way.
It came off as cruel, I think, because Spock was so hurt, and they should have had that conversation in private, but it was really the entity or whatever was controlling them. Just like Pike did not want to say those things, and yet he was saying them. I don't think Chapel wanted to say that in public. The only thing that she said to me that really hurt him was, if I have to leave or something, I will. Like, can't remember the exact lyric. But I think that was like shot to the heart right there. But I think she probably meant it as like, yeah, it's 3 months. Let's like, she could be back. Like, I don't think Chapel's to me, Spock was kind of emo about it. Like he's all like, "I'm the X." Like you've been with her for what, a couple of weeks? I don't, look what you did to Pring. Like
I mean,
I
they're
don't.
hardly even.
So how is
similar,
he?
dude.
So how is he gonna recover from?
Well, this is where he becomes shut down Spock, right? Like we're seeing
You
the
think
evolution.
that's gonna
of
happen
Spock.
next for him?
Well,
We're not gonna see it. We're obviously it's crazy. We have to wait till next season to find out about all these things because there's no way they're gonna tie it all up in one.
Robert Corby or not Robert? Is it Robert Corby?
Roger Corby.
Roger Corby got a name drop.
Dr. Corby.
Yeah, he got a
That's
name
the
drop.
program she's going to for archaeological medicine. She deserves to be happy about it, guys. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry Spock was hurt. Like she should have.
But Michelle,
why she didn't want to tell him.
Like her future's a disaster. Dr. Corby gets killed.
She doesn't know that. Boimler didn't spill about her future, just Spock's. Like, remember, Boimler told her that Spock, you are not mentioned in the same breath as Spock in the future. So she's already like, I got to do what I got to do because Spock's got to do his own stuff. Like, I think she's been disconnected. I think Boimler broke them up. That's my theory with his big mouth. But, I don't know that Spock, like, it's only 3 months, right? So why is it? I mean, that's like nothing for Starfleet. Like, why is this so? Oh, we got to break up. I don't understand.
I'll put my 2 cents and just say that, like, I did feel like even in last week, Chapel was like, "Can we not like define what we're doing? Can we not like try? Can we try to stop? Can we live in the moment a little bit more and not try to like put a name on this?" So she's not like there had a Spock's kind of tripping if he thinks there was a stronger bond there, like, and I think that's just part of like Spock's character arc too. So it's cool that we're seeing both. We're seeing like Chapel being like, gosh, like, and it's a very, I would say it's a very like human versus alien type of thing. Like maybe Vulcans are like, oh, like I'm taking a break. That means I'm no longer with this person. And now I'm like fully committed to you, like instantaneously. Like,
well, Cake is eternal. Cake is eternal in the chat said T'Pring probably doesn't even know they're on a break.
I know. Now I'm starting to wonder about that too.
Now, Brian in the chat said that Spock intentionally pushed the moment to get sensor scans, that he took one for the team. And yes, also that Spock and Christine are very emotional people, emotionally unavailable people.
So now, also, don't like Vulcans don't experience embarrassment, so that's probably why he asked her like that. He wasn't like concerned about the shade, but like she like served the shade anyway. He didn't have to like try to read her like that in front of everyone. I really, Christine Chapel's song was actually my favorite of the show. I really liked.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, like she was so like pop star, and she was like dancing and stuff, and like the crew, like everyone was so happy for her. Like the song,
because of her.
A lot of the songs
so hard for this. I was
are they called hooks? Like a lot of the songs have really good like I've been like, I'm ready, like like it's.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Now I will give Jill this. She says Uhura knew Spock was crushed, but Chapel seemed oblivious. I don't think Chapel was oblivious. I think in the last moment, Chapel looked at Spock and saw him walk away, and she's like, "Ooh," like because you're coming off of this big song, and she's feeling these big feelings, and then she's like realizing that her and Spock are drifting. And I don't know why they had to like break up or not, like I hope that we get something else because I feel like we haven't really seen them in a relationship. Like we haven't really seen their relationship. We just seen them like awkward together. So I hope that I don't think Chapel meant anything by it. I think this anomaly created the song, like through her, but it was hard. It was hard because Spock was and Uhura sees that side of Spock, and that's what I'm really fixating on, that Uhura is watching all of this, and she's clocking all of this, and she goes with him, she's with him in engineering afterwards, and she's there when he does this song and says that he feels things deeply, and it's different emotionally. Like, Uhura, I didn't know that she knew all these things about Spock, but it makes sense with the timeline and how their friendship grows and how I wanted them to be in the movies, you know, and how you can kind of write little things in between the lines there with their relationship.
She said she doesn't listen to personal communications, but she listens to a few. She's like, oh yeah, like I know all of you guys, even though you might not know me. Like, you know, that was a little creepy. Like, oh yeah.
No.
Dude, can we talk about a lusty La'an, dude, when she was like holding that watch and like thinking about her and Kirk in bed, dude. Like, oh, lusty La'an. I was like, ooh, like I was like, okay, like the kiss. You imagine like kissing him, but like now you imagine like you like under the sheets, you know, like
I refuse. I no.
La'an was
but
having
she was
thirsty.
Can we call her thirsty? She was definitely thirsty. one last thing before we move back to La'an. I just want to say, Ms. Powell family, to answer your question, that T'Pring was totally lucky that everything happened because she met Stan. Stan's the best for her. He's so good and he's so hot too. Have you seen Stan? Like both in TOS.
Am I gonna have to reel you in right now, Sohail? Or you can go. I'm gonna clock this. You got 30 seconds. Go on, Stan. Talk about it. No,
I'm just stunning for Stan here. That's all. I'm just gonna stan for
You're
Stan.
a stand for Stan. I get it.
I'm a stand for Stan. Yeah, it's true. I love Stan, and I think he's gonna be someone really cool. I'm so kind of like, I'm like really satisfied with season 2, but I'm also like, where are all these characters that you dropped in season 1? Like, it's kind of cool that they're like playing the long game in a weird way. It's like, you know, I feel like it's okay to wait to get a really good Stan story, and I think it's coming.
And Cybok, right? Didn't they
Cybok,
drop Cybok? No,
how are they gonna like?
So
do you think Cybok's even gonna appear next week? Like, how are they gonna even like? It's like I don't even think we're gonna see Cybok. I think that's gonna.
I don't think we are either.
Season 3 thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So
it would just be too loaded. I feel like they need to give us like a good like action-packed Gorn episode, and then I'll be satisfied. Like, I don't know, maybe to like give us Cybok maybe too much. How are they gonna weave all that together?
I'm not a fan of the Gorn, so I'm kind of dreading next week, but I have no idea. My Romulan spies have not sent me any packages from the future, so I have no idea what happens.
Who was ranking hotties for half an hour at the premiere at 7? Me and Sohail?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes.
Jill's telling on y'all. It's fine. That we're here for, you know, IDIC. But yeah, like Cybok didn't get followed up. Next week, I'm concerned. First of all, they have been telegraphing Batel's death since like the first episode, and I'm not feeling it. I don't like this fridging.
I don't think she's gonna die. I have a good feeling that Batel's gonna survive. Like,
I hope so. But like Pike doesn't mention her in the menagerie. Like, where is she?
That's true.
We don't really hear about Captain Marie Batel.
But like
Boimler didn't seem to know about her, so you know.
That's the sad part, is that Vina is his true. I guess Vina is his true love. That's the thing. Like, he's just
no, come on, really?
Well, why would he like accept Vina? Like
I got issues with that whole
and
situation.
Then
but,
wasn't there a Disco season 2 episode where like he and Vina were like all like, I wish, and she was like, I wish, and he was like, oh, I really wish, and then she was like, okay, bye, control your people or whatever. And
I have to rewatch those episodes because I forgot that he met
I've
Vina
distilled
again.
it. I've distilled it to like that's totally not what happens in the
That was the Cliff Notes version. You gave us like those Cliff Notes versions that you would fail the test for, but that kind Chris. Of
I don't know. I feel like
you could pass like class if they ask the question.
I guess he ends up with Vina though, so that says something. Like, he knows doesn't he know all the way to? I guess he only knows.
He doesn't know that Spock does what he does. He only knows where he ends up in the beep.
That's where I was hazy.
As everyone's calling it, the beep chair. which I think is a little rough, but I can go with it. I think it's a little funny, but also,
It's
yeah.
actually like
I'm
a
like,
toot.
really, your technology is not
It's
that
more of a
advanced?
toot than a beep, right? Isn't it like toot?
Yeah, I don't know. Tawny Newsome calls it the beep beep chair.
I
So
like that.
I think for Battelle, I like their relationship. I like her. Like I like that they're just relatively mature. I mean, I enjoyed their number on the bridge. I thought that was really funny. And it kind of reminded me of Attached, where Picard and Beverly were like, wait a minute, I didn't know you didn't like elaborate breakfasts. Like, why don't we communicate? Like, it, kind of like, I don't want to go on vacation here. Why didn't you tell me? The typical couple stuff, like, oh, silly us. But yeah, once she said I have a priority one mission, I'm like, oh, girl, you gone. This does not bode well. And look, I did see the clip from the Ready Room, so I think it might be happening. But we did get some. I mean, I don't want to get into let's talk about this first before we get into spoilers for next week. But I mean, ultimately, I found this episode to be exhilarating. I was so impressed by how it felt like a musical, and I thought everyone really stepped up, and the directing was great too. I love the choreography. I love the way that they shot everything. I don't have really anything bad about it. I mean, I know there are people that really don't like it. Like they're just like, this is not Star Trek, but I don't understand that because it was totally Star Trek. Like it was like somebody said, I think it might have been Trev or Stan last week on the Salon, who were like, Spock's brain exists. Like the episode from season 3 of TOS, Spock's brain. Yeah, there's worse Star Trek out there than a musical. Like, this was good, and it propelled the story. A lot of people are comparing it to that Buffy episode that I've never seen. So, Braxton, have you seen that Buffy episode that everybody's talking about? That was a musical? Are you not a Buffy?
Girl, I'm gay. Of course, I've seen that.
There you go. See, so could you compare it to this? Like, what did you think of it at all when you were watching it?
Oh yeah, of course I did. Of course I did. But I enjoyed this significantly more. But but Buffy's like so like campy and fun. I mean, this was campy as well. But I'm with you, Michelle. I thought this episode was great. Like I said, I don't think that I've smiled as much watching an episode of Star Trek as I did in this one. And I thought it was like super ambitious. It's like, oh yeah, like we're gonna have like a solid episode of Trek, but we're gonna like sing like 60% of it. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and we're gonna boldly go, because how can you boldly go if you don't take risks? Like, what, risk is our business. That's a Kirk thing, right? So sometimes you got to take some risks, and I think this one paid off. I mean, I enjoyed the ships in the end. They were kind of dancing too. They were like, and then at the very end, the TOS theme played. That was, to me, that was kind of like the really nice cap on everything. And you see, like, even Pelia is a driving force in this episode. I know they're saying she's only signed on for this season. I'm nervous about next week, but she has been fantastic. And she's the one that says, why don't you send music? Right? So it's kind of her fault too. And even she sang a little bit. Like, she was like, singing on the bridge at the end. And then you had Pike doing the little dance with her. Like, it was... Was
Pelia in it at the end? I thought she was only in like 2 scenes, like when Spock and Uhura were in like the engine room.
She was in the engine room.
You have to watch it again, Braxton, because she's totally in the
she was in the beginning, and then she was in the end on the bridge. She came on the bridge in the turbo lift with everybody. So like, I want to know what that turbo lift scene was like. It was Spock, Chapel, Pelia, like Spock and Chapel in that turbo lift. Longest 17 seconds. I don't know. Maybe longer because it's TOS and it takes longer. I don't know. But don't forget to what? We got a thumbs up. Somebody's reminding us to.
Now, Uhura was like the MVP of the episode, but I thought like my second MVP was Una. You know, I loved Una's song when she was like talking to La'an and she was talking about like the secrets that we keep like safe, like inside. You know, that really resonated with me. Like I thought that song was like so cute. I think that they have like a wonderful friendship. That's so nice to see. Like Una is like a mentor for La'an, you know, and I don't know, like I just eat it. I just eat those scenes up. Like I just absolutely love them, you know, just like friendship and like sisterhood and like I look up to you and like I want to be you. Like I eat that up, dude.
It's fabulous. I mean, when she turned the
Mhm.
gravity off and they were like
Mhm.
spinning, I was,
Mhm.
I mean, it was
Mhm.
hilarious, but it was also like, I feel this moment. Like they're having a moment. Like I could see, like you see this with little kids all the time, like with their siblings sometimes. Like, they'll throw each other around or they'll sing and they'll, like, but they're connecting through song. They're connecting through this movement of whatever they're doing with this dance. But they're also at the end, like La'an's talking to her about what she learned about her whole experience with Kirk. So
Mhm.
the Kirk stuff from tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, it pays off here in that it helped La'an grow and hopefully grow more to be more emotionally open,
Mhm.
to take more chances
Mhm.
in her emotional life, which is kind of cool. Where they're at the bar talking about that. And, I like all the characters on Strange New Worlds, but the newer ones take a little bit more time to
Mhm.
grow up. And La'an is growing on me, like as I'm seeing more sides to her. She's not just like the angry emo girl who like survived a gourd attack. So although we'll see what happens next week when that trauma is brought back to the forefront, most likely, which is what I'm thinking because they've been teasing Gorn all season. So
I'm
you know.
not looking forward to the Gorn. There's going to be carnage. Ugh, it's not.
People
I'm not.
gonna die probably. There's
Mhm.
probably gonna be
No,
some popping
no.
through.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
been so safe. It's been so safe. The Gorn are the one
Yeah.
thing. It's
Everybody's talking about the screaming goat's bed. Just wait till you see the
Mhm.
Gorn coming.
Mhm.
That's gonna
Do you have
look
a
Mhm.
like the
screaming
screaming
Gorn?
goats.
Do you have a
I
screaming
don't.
Gorn?
It's I should call it the screaming
Oh my
Gorn for the
gosh,
next episode.
what does
That's
the
a
You should.
screaming going
you
sound
haven't
like?
seen it's just a goat, yeah. It's my
Mm.
normal screaming goat, but
I could
Mm.
I'll
do a scream.
rebrand it next week because
I
it's
could do.
gonna have to be the screaming Gorn.
Braxton, I could do the screaming Gorn sound, but it would break my throat. Like it would hurt my throat
Oh
probably
my
every
gosh.
week
Oh
after
my
that. But I
gosh.
could do it. It's like it's awful.
Oh my gosh, I
Oh,
don't want you to break your throat.
who just put out into the universe that Pelly is gonna get it by the Gorn? No.
Oh,
No.
No, that
wow. Oh my
cake
Dub
gosh.
it.
does
A
stress.
being that has been
Dub it.
alive for
Stress
like
free
a
K,
Stress
millennia
free
would be
you are
like
K. I
not making
killed
me
by
wonder.
the
stress
gore.
free.
Wow, that
I
would be
wonder if the
frustrating.
Gorn get you stress free K. I wonder if they get you.
Aw, poor stress free K. Now it's just stressful. Okay, Jill also hates the Gorn. I don't mind the Gorn. I'm like, let's have some stakes. Let's have some bad guys. I'm a little bit into horror. Stephen King, like, do it, Star Trek. Let's see what happens.
I don't
It's
know.
gonna be brutal though. I have a
I don't
feeling
know, like,
not
why
everybody's
what is
going
the
to
deal?
survive.
Like, what is I still don't understand, like, there's some kind of discontinuity that I'm experiencing. Like, I don't understand. So, like, Kirk doesn't know who the Gorn are, right?
He's
But it
never
seems like
seen them, I don't think. So
what's
it
the I gotta go
seems
back
like
and watch. I'm gonna watch Arena this weekend. That's
that's
my
a good
mission. That's
that's
it.
good homework for everybody. Go rewatch
Yeah,
Arena
it's a good
and see how
idea.
much they messed with the timeline.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Akiva
Does
has
anyone in
said
the audience have
he doesn't
fresh
care about
Arena?
canon too much. Like
Are you
he's not
bathed
afraid of
fresh in
like,
the
oh,
arena? Sorry.
Akiva said he's not afraid of like if there's a line, he's not afraid of if it's just like, a few words a character said, he's not going to let that dictate what they do. Like they care about canon to a point. And I'm not going to get into a whole what's canon debate. But yeah, watching Arena and seeing how like Kirk is not in the next episode, I don't think. I don't think he can be because this is definitely going to be a Gorntastic finish.
I don't
So
know. I gotta watch Arena. I gotta watch it because I'm kind of confused on Kirk's understanding of the Gorn. I always thought I always thought like the Federation. Kirk was like discovering them for the Federation, kind of like I felt like it wasn't just him.
Well, I
I
guess
don't
he
know, it was
didn't
like
because like April knows about
Yeah.
it. Which, by the way, I
April
wanted
knows
to hear
about it.
that sweet baritone of Captain April as well.
I did too.
And yes, Brian, like Ethan Peck, he had a decent voice, like kind of a little baritone, like his grandfather Gregory Peck. I get that.
I
He was
really
good.
felt for
Yeah.
Dr. Babs because Dr. Babs. I really felt for
And
Babs
Benga.
because I'm the same. I can't sing, so I would have to be auto-tuned.
But he did a good job, though. He sounded pretty
Yeah,
good.
I
when
thought
I
he
think
was
he was
fine.
I think he was
Wesley was
auto-corrected.
fine,
I
like,
think he was corrected.
But it's okay. Like we have auto tune
Yeah,
for
it's
that
fine.
reason. Like who cares?
You know, we
Yeah.
didn't see Kirk.
He participated. That's the best thing.
We didn't see Kirk's brother sing. You know, I feel like
Yeah,
he's just
Sam
a pretty
was-
face. Like maybe
Sam
he
was
can't
singing,
really
but I
sing.
don't know if he was really singing. Like he was singing in the final thing, but we didn't really hear his voice. So
They
I
said,
feel
"Oh,
like
he
he
can't
was
sing."
backup, but
participated.
he was also backup singing on Nurse Chapel's.
He was.
On Chapel's number.
I don't know if you could hear him though. I have to go back and watch.
You could hear
I'm always
Ortega's a little
always
bit.
fixated on Sam, so I don't know. Maybe I heard him in my brain.
I have a confession to make. Arena is not one of my favorite episodes. I actually never really liked Arena. I felt like it was boring.
I love it. I love the hissing.
Sorry, guys.
I love the Gorn hissing, like
when it was on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, I was all about like excited because Kirk was on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I love.
But
how
I was not a
slow
fan of
it
the
is,
episode.
dude. I don't that's like my biggest thing is like I don't understand how like that Gorn, the same Gorn, like I do get it, like I get like how the Gorn could be different. So maybe something that happens in Strange New Worlds like affects the Gorn and they become that Gorn. I don't know, but like anyways, that was my favorite thing about Arena is how slow the Gorn is. He's like, yeah, like he's just like he's like not gonna. There's no way he's gonna like. He's like super strong, but he's so slow, so crazy.
Yeah,
so
it was
slow.
kind of. I don't know. I guess I don't know if it was the costume or if it was just the slowness of it. I was just like, meh.
Of the redesigns, though, I hated Enterprise's Gorn. I don't think there was any other Gorn before.
Oh, they had Gorn on Enterprise?
Oh wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, there's.
So why is everybody complaining about Strange New Worlds?
Yeah. I don't. Enterprise did it first, and it's like whatever. It's gross. Sorry, Enterprise, but these are my favorite Gorn redesigns ever. I love. That's the problem with this. It's like I think that's where like I think I'm kind of like but I love the baby Gorn with those eyes, those big eyes. Have you seen like it's insane.
We definitely need action figures.
I have been in Star Trek video games too.
Yeah, whatever. They're scary, but they're not as scary as the aliens, but they're scary in a similar way. And so I think they're pulling it off. Like I think that's the aim. Like
it was Mirror Universe. It was Mirror Universe on Enterprise. That's why it didn't affect.
Okay, thank you. Who
Got
said
it.
that? Brian. Thank you.
Brian
Excellent.
and Jill. Yeah.
And Jill. Excellent. Mm-hmm. Whatever though, it's an indicator. Like so far, the Mirror Universe has mirrored the Prime Universe. So whatever, that's what the Gorn look like.
This is going to be interesting.
Enterprise times.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about next week, guys.
They were fast and gross. They look like iguanas. They were so disgusting on Enterprise. You should pull up a YouTube clip of the Enterprise Gorn. They're the worst. They're like the worst thing.
Should
ever.
share a screenshot, Sohail.
But now they've done practical Gorn, and I think it's exciting. I think it's really cool, and I think we're gonna see CGI Gorn. I'm just like, but I'm still not excited about the Gorn.
You are though.
You know what's exciting about the Gorn is like.
So Jill said alternate universe. Brian said mirror universe. So I don't know which one. I haven't seen Enterprise. So.
I'm watching a clip now, and it doesn't look like
It might be an alternate universe. It might be an alternate universe, is what she said.
I mean, the Gorn doesn't look that. Ooh. I was gonna say I don't know if it looks that bad, but it's like I don't know. It's like
the worst.
Braxton's live reaction to the Gorn here from Enterprise.
Whatever they do on Strange New Worlds, they should replace
Mhm.
the Gorn on Enterprise with Strange New Worlds Gorn. But to me, the perfect Gorn is still the one in the original series. To me,
I
I
mean, it
love
moves
that.
significantly faster than that one in the original series. The one in the original
They
series is like
all,
super slow,
yeah,
but
the original
it
series.
looks the
Yeah, it was like,
same. But it
you
looks
know,
pretty similar.
they could grow into that Gorn though. Like, there's nothing
You know what
saying that
Strange
the
New
Gorn
Worlds
won't.
has an opportunity to do that no other show has done is flash forwards. Like they can explain things by
Ooh,
flashing forwards in
wow.
the timeline of the Enterprise. Because one could
Wow.
argue that
Mm.
Braxton's like
You know what? I was just watching like the end of the clip, dude, and like Scott Bakula like looks so good, dude. I just said,
he does
"Wow,
look so
dude."
good.
Dude,
I mean,
That wasn't
I'm
a
gonna have to
Gorn
send it to
reaction.
you,
That was a
and
is
back.
just like
Enterprise on your list?
watch like
Michelle?
the last 15 seconds, dude. Like, wow. Okay, I'm sorry.
Bring
Sorry.
Bakula back to Trek.
Dude,
Let's do
bring
it.
Bakula back.
Bring Bakula.
Look, I was watching him
back.
on NCIS New Orleans.
It's true.
That was, he was good in that. And then
I think I don't know why we can't do like animated stuff in the vein of like Love, Death, Monsters, whatever it's called, like in Star Trek style, like in Star Trek stuff. Like it'd be cool and bring back Enterprise, like or fill in like stories. Like voice acting's becoming a really cool way to do stuff. I think.
short treks.
Also,
They're doing like animated treks, aren't they? They're doing like 4
yeah,
animated treks or something like that from different Trek
this
shows.
is I think Fathery would be very happy with us if we stop for a second to mention that we stand with SAG-AFTRA and the WGA, but also that all across the industry, like animation is like it's like even lower. Like they're having even, it's worse how animation is treated. Like animation writers, it's like it's terrible. So every it's just terrible. It's like I'm kind of appalled with what I've been learning about like actors and residuals. It's like there's so much money being generated from Hollywood, and the like I just heard my mom and my sister complaining because they've raised the price of like all of their streaming services, like the BritBox even just like raised their price, like which is great. Like YouTube Premium, which you're not even doing, it's just so that you don't have to see ads, just raise their price. So it's like they're raising prices, and it's kind of obscene that you have like billionaire CEOs running these companies, and like I don't know, it just to me it just I'm voting with my dollars, and my dollars are 100% going to the performers and the writers and the labor, as Fran Drescher has been saying. And so yeah, no more.
Pay the writers, pay the actors. You wouldn't have you wouldn't have episodes like this that are so creative. Like
this is so good. This is, and I can't believe they're not going to get like residuals and the proper payment for this. Like this is a hit. I swear I'm gonna be listening to this like it's I can't stop thinking about this episode. Like how many other people like myself are out there that are just gonna listen to the soundtrack nonstop? Like there's so much views or whatever you want to call it, money being generated from this episode alone. And from what we're understanding, it's like, there's really nothing, there's no way to make a living doing this, and I think they should be able to make a living. Star Trek's here to stay. Star Trek, Star Wars, these are huge franchises. Like they're not going anywhere. And yeah, it's true that like Paramount Plus cut Prodigy out of the roster of what they're offering, but we hate that. but at the same time, Star Trek Prodigy is still a viable option, and it may get picked up by another network, and I'm hoping it's Amazon or someone that'll take Star Trek in a different direction, which is pretty cool. That'll be happening for the first time. I don't know. Well, that's another. This is where I sidebar, but anyways, bringing it back home. Just pay fair wages. It's terrible that minimum wage in this country is like $7 and change for like the last 20 years. It's terrible. Minimum wage should be at least $15. I'm of the camp, the extreme camp that believes minimum wage should be $20 an hour. Just like round it up to $20. Come on. Like these are the people that are working the hardest. Like these are the people that are like cleaning garbage and stuff like that you don't want to be doing. And they should be at least living a comfortable life.
Yeah, it's rough. And I'm gonna put,
And
I
as far
think,
as
in the
actors are
chat.
concerned, they're cleaning the garbage rolls that no one wants to do. No, I'm just kidding. There's no
But
garbage
there
rolls in
is
Star
the
Trek.
you do have the if you can help, if you're able to help, if you want to help, the Entertainment Community Fund is out there. I'm going to put the link in the chat, because I mean the WGA has been, I don't, like, think about the WGA, how long they've been on strike, right? Like we're approaching over 90 days, almost
And
100 days.
that's the most appalling thing, is that like the statements that like were leaked from like interviews with people at some of these streaming organizations about like, oh well, we'll just wait till people start losing their apartments and stuff like that, and I'm like, F no.
Wow, dude, really?
Yeah, they were just like,
Wow.
then they'll like make a better deal, and it's like, no, that's not like, that's
We'll
not
just
how
like
you
wait
negotiate.
90 days, 120 days, and like,
Yeah, it's like crazy.
uh-huh.
Of course, like a $1 trillion company can do that, but that's awful. It's just just come
Yeah.
on.
Mhm.
Like there's no reason that there should be such a disparity between a CEO salary and like, the lowest person on the payroll. It's just obscene. Come on.
And great episodes like this, like, yes, you need producers, but you also need the talent to make it happen. And they don't respect the talent. They're like, AI will just do it for you. And it's like, no, it's not. AI can do a lot of things, but is that what we want as human beings? And what happens when AI has no more new materials to like devour and put through its meat grinder? Like they're stealing work from other artists, and that's how they get these things that are like, oh, this is actually pretty good, it's scary. It's because they've taken work from all these other writers and actors, and they've kind of, the technology has, ground it up, and now it's spitting it out. But it's coming from human beings that we should be paying and treating properly, because that's the whole thing about Star Trek, right? Like, yeah, we have this awesome technology, but that technology wouldn't mean anything without the human experience and the human heart. So yeah, pay the actors and the writers, please.
All right, that was a good
Think we got that message?
I think we
did. Is that all right, Father Ray? I hope so.
How long are these? I haven't been on one in a long time. How long are these? Like an hour and a half?
Like an hour.
Did we talk about everything? Did we talk about everything? Yes, I feel like we did, right?
I think we hit all the points.
David, there was a name drop of Carol Marcus and David.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah, how do you guys feel about I feel like this is the right time frame, right? Isn't this around, they've kind of nailed like the ages
I guess
on, like, the
David
ages,
was
right?
supposed to be 30 something years old in Rathacon. I'm not sure.
Braxton hasn't seen the movies, so he doesn't know.
Oh no,
right?
am I gonna
I don't
spoil
think,
this?
But Carol
we already
Marcus
did.
was
He
in
already
the new
knows, yeah.
movies. Like she was the blonde in the new movies.
But she's
like
totally different in the new movie. She's just like, I don't know, a swimsuit babe. Sorry to say.
I'm not. It was that one shot that really just.
Well,
she does
took
look good in
her,
her swimsuit, but
Which
she was
for
in
no
her
reason.
underwear.
Like, so what?
reduced.
So she looks hot here. They're objectifying her. Okay, but that doesn't mean she's still not a good
The real
character.
Carol Marcus is in Star Trek 2, Braxton. You got to watch it tonight. That's it.
BB
Oh wow,
Vesh.
dude! Oh wow, dude!
BB
Yes,
Vesh.
BB Vesh,
Yes.
baby.
Well, let's just say this:
play her next season.
Beverly Crusher and Jack Crusher were kind of modeled a little bit after, though. I could see a little bit of Beverly and Carol here, and I mean, this is kind of like the alternate. Like Kirk knows that he's gonna have a kid, and he's away a lot, and it's a problem. So it would be interesting to see what happens with him and Carol, and why she decides, I wanted him in my world, not yours, right? So
David, I think it's gonna be cool that we're
Mhm.
gonna see David grow up apart from Kirk. That's a neat new dimension for me. Because we're only in season 2 of Strange New Worlds, and like David's about to be born.
Mm.
So let's say we go to just 5 seasons. That means we might see like a toddler or like a little older David, here and there occasionally. I think Kirk's going to be a big part of Strange New Worlds, and I'm all for it. I like it. I don't
Don't
want
let
him.
Jill hear you on that. She's gonna not like that. I'm
How
not,
many how many
he was
episodes is
fine.
Kirk?
He was
Kirk
fine,
got,
but he was taken away from Pike too much. He was taken away from the other crew too much.
but
I don't. If
right.
he's gelling with the cast, it's fine. If he makes appearances here and there, but this is not the Kirk show. We've had a lot of Kirk,
I love
a
what he's
lot of
saying.
iterations of Star Trek. Let's get some Pike before he ends up in the beep beep chair.
You
That
know
would
how
be
you're like
nice.
singing your heart out? I love that Kirk sang his heart out, and his true feelings were, dang, if I ever make captain, it's because of all of you. You guys are just like so
Yeah,
real. Like
it's like a little.
it
It's
was
like a
such a
little boost
beautiful, yeah,
to
Mhm.
like a
the.
little boost. Yeah. And I was just like, dang, you are gonna be captain, girl. Don't worry. Like, don't worry. You're gonna be the captain.
He also pointed at his brother during that
I
song and
know
said,
he
"We're
loves his
better when we're
brother so
together" or
together. It
something.
was so
There's just
heartbreaking.
so much tragedy ahead that it's hard to
I
like
know.
watch this and not be like a little
Mhm.
cringe, like, "Oh no,
But it's
Sam."
also like beautiful. It's kind of a
Yeah.
poetic thing.
Mhm.
It's like a poem. I don't know.
hmm Yeah, it's very I mean, I thought this episode was very effective because it had a plot, there were stakes, and it moved the character development and story along. So it wasn't just like a nothing episode. Like you kind of have to watch this episode to understand what's happening in the show for the next time, right? Although I'm
Yeah,
sure they'll do
true.
I want to see the recap for next week. Like are they going to have like singing Spock like are they I'm the X like you going to do that? I don't know.
He's so messy. Stress Free K points out that the actor Merritt Buttrick, who played David,
Yeah.
was an actual casualty of the AIDS epidemic, but he actually made a return to Star Trek in Star Trek: The Next Generation in the episode which also is referenced. His character, or at least his people are referenced in Lower Decks. But anyways, it's the episode where the
Symbiosis.
symbiosis. Thank you. Where
Mhm.
they're like, and it's a Beverly. It's a
It's
very
a
good
Beverly
Beverly
episode. I'm
episode.
corrected. Beverly's like it's hard to be philosophical when human lives are at stake.
I
She's
know, it's
bringing
such
the
a good
heat of the
episode.
card. It's
It's
fabulous.
such a good episode. So
It is.
anyways, so yeah,
Mhm.
nice little tie-in. But yeah, Braxton, you're missing Star Trek 2. You gotta just Did you
How have
see
you
the
not?
motion picture
Have you seen
yet?
any of
No,
the
right?
movies?
I haven't seen most of the I haven't seen very many of the Star Trek
You
movies,
gotta
Oh, you
watch
should.
whether like
two. You
Yeah.
gotta
original.
watch 2 tonight. Star
2,
Trek 2.
3, and 4, and 6 are must
Start with
watch. I
2
like
and see how
5.
you feel. Start with 2 and see
Dude,
how
is
you
the
feel.
salon tonight, dude?
I don't
They're in
remember.
Vegas, so I don't think we're not doing the salon
We're not,
tonight.
right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everybody, shout out to everybody in Vegas. I know my
Yeah.
Crusher Convo
Is
host,
anyone in
my
Vegas
Crusher
watching this?
Convo co-host Jesse is there.
Dude, they're
She met,
partying. They're not watching us,
she
dude.
saw Gates. That yeah, no one's
No, there was
watching
a
this from
steady
Vegas.
audience until just like a few minutes ago. Now they're like, oh, it's more than an hour. They're like still online. Like,
Well,
what is
Joel was here briefly. He's usually in the chat, but he's at Vegas. Rachel's at Vegas, who usually hangs out with us here. So
What's real quick? I'm getting a text message from someone who's watching this that can't be in our chat. So they say, what was the most unexpected thing that you saw, like that you got out of this episode?
I think it was the joy of it, like that it would be so joyful, and the unity at the end, like that they would really lean into the like just the teamwork and that spirit, and just the way the music like and the lyrics fit so perfectly. Like it didn't
Yeah.
feel disjointed. It didn't feel like there was just a couple of songs thrown in. It was very well, it flowed very well. That was probably more than one thing, but yeah.
I thought it was gonna be I thought it was going to be, I guess for me, the unexpected thing was like how well developed the characters, how well it developed the characters and pushed their story forward. Like that was, I thought it was going to be like a fun little lark, like almost like cover songs, but it wasn't. It was they made original songs. Like you said, it just goes deep. Like it is, it's not the reason why it's like continuity or canon critique proof is because it completely explains everything that like all the situation is perfectly explained through the best techno babble, which right now I couldn't repeat, but if you really force me to, I could tell you exactly how the physics work, but it all like lines up perfectly. So yeah, to me it's just like a perfect episode. I gotta mute for a second.
Well, Braxton, it sounds like your cat might have some thoughts. What was your surprise?
She absolutely loved it. I don't know if anything really surprised me in this episode. I mean, I just thought it was well done. I mean, I take it generally that like actors, are generally actors a lot of times like they sing and they dance too. So it doesn't surprise me that like actors can sing or dance. I think that this show is generally well produced. So the fact that they told us a good Star Trek story on top of it, doesn't really surprise me. I thought this episode was good. I can't really think of anything that really sticks out as being like a surprise to me.
Yes, I agree. I think it was just the joy of it, right? It was just I don't know. Everything about it was very fun, and yet there were some heavy moments, There was some really like Chapel and Spock. Are we going to get any resolution to that? I don't know. Like they had this big joyful moment at the end, and then Chapel and Spock look at each other, and Spock just walks away.
Yeah,
that was rough. That was rough.
Yeah.
Well, the space cat has made a mess, so I have to end the transmission.
Let's give a rating and go.
I can't keep us connected. Do you guys do ratings on the Tex-Trek? I thought there was no ratings here. There's no ratings.
I think he does a poll usually.
A poll? Oh, what's the poll? Like, what does he do? Oh, sheesh. I thought it was
depends on like what did you think of the episode? I think he does. I don't know if he does like scales or.
I think everyone just chill out, have a drink, smoke a doobie, whatever. Go watch this episode.
Ratings.
Again.
We could do ratings. Like, put in the chat. Put in the chat what you all rated this episode.
It's fucking infinity. Don't anyone put anything less than an infinity. All right. Anyway, I'm
gonna give it a 9 out of 10 because it's tough to give 10 out of 10s. I really 9.5 probably out of 10 for me.
Braxton, are you still 9.9999?
So did I give this a 10? I did give it a 10. Dude,
you gave it 9.99999.
Because that's like perfect. Yeah. I give it a 9.997.
Okay, so two people creates a ratification. So infinity out of 10 is my rating, and so is Benchenium. So this episode gets your override to an infinity. Infinity pulls all the ratings up to infinity. It just like pulls them. It's like, oh, you're like a 9. Oh, you're infinity now. And oh, you're like a 9.9. You're an infinity now. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm being a child. No, I don't.
Stable, Sohail.
I've had a little bit of wine tonight. I will say.
Your sour mead, yes, I know.
Anyways, thank you guys. Thanks, Tex-Trek. Sorry if we didn't stick to the format. But we have FOMO.
I think we did the format pretty well. I mean, look, they're all living it up in Vegas, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we wish them well, and we hope that they have an amazing time in Vegas. But
don't let the bed bugs bite.
holding down the fort here on Starbase 1. You know.
All right. Live
Before we get
long
too
and
crazy.
prosper.
We should end with the K-pop. No.
Yes. All right, here we go. All right, I'm ready to click. Bye.
Good night, guys.